Hey guys, welcome back to Beyond Travel Check-ins with Saida.
And Jermaine.
Today we're going to be talking about 7 reasons we should have moved to Kenya sooner. Today we're going to be talking about why we should have moved to Kenya in 2017 rather than 2024. So Jermaine, can you give a little bit of the backstory as to how we ended up in Kenya? Did we just move here in 2024? How did our evolution come about?
Basically, we came here on mission trips twice. One 2017, one in 2022. After 2022, well, you probably want to move here. What 2017, right? I can't remember, but I didn't. I don't know. Last year before, I heard from Lord and said I need to move. You provided a way to do that, so nothing I could say. No more objections from me, and now we're here.
And if you guys are curious about how we are able to afford to live here, how we are able to actually, make an income while we're here, we do already have a video for that. So go ahead and check that video out. And make sure you guys give this video a like for the algorithm and subscribe to our channel. And if you have any questions or comments, leave them down in the comment section below. So like Jermaine said, in 2017, when we came, we were here on a mission trip and we were driving around in a matatu. No, we weren't even in a matatu. We were in the safari.
Yeah, I know that.
This is a safari truck. And I was just looking around and I think we were probably about 2 or 3 days into our missions trip, which we were here for about 15 days. And I was like, Jermaine, we should move here. And Jermaine was like,
no, I
ain't never moving to Kenya. And so now we are here. And while I would have loved to have moved here in 2017, I am glad we moved here in 2024 because one of the things that you want to take into consideration when you are a husband and wife moving to a country, you do want to make sure that both people in the marriage are on the same page, right?
Yeah, you have to be. Somebody's going to do some regretting, and you don't want to do that.
Yeah, so even though I had the idea, I felt like the Lord was saying we should move here in 2017. We didn't move here into 2024 because we had to both be on the same page. And some of the reasons why we didn't move, we probably will do a video about that because being able to provide income is a big deal, right?
That's the main deal.
Safety is another issue, right?
Yeah.
Your family in the States, like if you have young kids, their education is a big deal. Because we still had young kids in the home when we still had kids in the house in 2017. Right. And we were concerned about their education, picking them up out of high school, some in college.
Right, they were on their way out of the house, so I didn't want to disrupt that.
Right. So let's jump into the reasons why we should have moved to Kenya sooner. And Jermaine and I actually have been thinking about being missionaries a long time ago when our kids were really little. Mm-hmm. And even then, I feel like if we would have done it when they were younger, I wouldn't have regretted it. But we did have a lot of apprehensions about it because we homeschooled our kids some of the time. So we could have made it work.
Yeah, I guess, but on that part,
yeah, we just don't know. This is the path we're on today. But we do want to talk to about some of the reasons because some of you guys may be thinking about moving to Kenya, but may have apprehensions. As a husband, you may have some apprehensions. As a wife, you may have some apprehensions, you may have some questions, and hopefully some of these things will help give you some inspiration to go ahead and make your move. So reason number 1 why we should have moved to Kenya sooner is we enjoy being in the majority and not the minority. And so much so that now that when we go back to the States, it actually feels a little weird being in the minority.
Right, it does.
Yeah, it just feels almost like uncomfortable. It's
yeah. It's just different. It's weird because we always been in the minority, right? And so you're just used to it. But when you become part of the majority for a while, then you go back to the minority, everything looks a little different.
Yeah, it just feels weird. Almost like a sim, almost like you're in a simulation. It's just weird. It's like, man, okay, there's a place in the world where I'm the majority and I can thrive there. I can live a good life there. And there's a place in the world where I'm the minority and I can thrive there and I can live a good life there. And it's like, okay.
That's why when I see people here who are not of African descent, I do have somewhat of a respect because, man, not being in the majority, man, there's something to that.
Yes.
You know, You feel like a stranger sometimes. But we didn't feel like
outsider almost.
Yeah, we didn't feel like strangers while we were there. I didn't really.
Mm-hmm.
So when I go back, I can't say I feel like a stranger because that's what I knew my whole life. But it does feel weird.
Well, and just to give context, in some settings, we do feel like outsiders. Like Jermaine and I travel a lot, and we travel a lot within the U.S. Right. And a lot of times when we travel, we can go to a place and be the only African Americans there.
That's true.
Aside from the people who work at the establishment.
Right.
So we can go stay at a resort or a hotel or go to an event, and we can be the only African Americans there. And sometimes it does feel weird. Like sometimes you do get stares. So it's just like a weird feeling. Whereas here, we never get stares. If anything, people think we're Kenyan, and I just love that. Like they don't think we're Black Americans or African Americans until we open our mouths. Now, when we start, well, let me stop. I will say Jermaine does get stares because he's tall. And because he's on the lighter side for here in Kenya, so
they probably don't even have.
And the way he dresses, and so I think people classify him as the Kikuyu like tribe here in Kenya, and I see a lot of Kikuyus are on the lighter side.
Yeah.
But he gets stares because he's tall. Kenyans are not typically tall.
They do have
the Maasai are taller,
right? But they're not. U.S. people are taller. I'll just put it that way.
Yeah. So it's just a different feeling, and it's hard to really explain to someone who has never experienced it, but that's one of the reasons why we should have moved here sooner. And that's one of the reasons why I wanted to move here. When I was just looking everywhere in 2017, I was like, man, everybody here looks like me, my cousins, my aunts, I was like, this is crazy.
Yeah, I mean,
I was like, I didn't know if you went to Africa, people in Africa or Kenya per se would look like people I knew, people I went to school with, people I met in passing. It was weird.
Man, you can't tell, really. I know some people think they can tell, but you really can't tell. You might have somebody say, oh, like if somebody has Somali descent, somebody like that.
Some of the features
are different than anybody else.
Sudanese, I think, maybe.
Some, but not all. It's just they on the lighter end, no. Some of the complexions, like the Luos and stuff like that, some of the complexions are kind of dark, so you might not see that particular complexion, or it might not be plentiful in the U.S. But pretty much everybody else,
they look like everybody that you would know.
Streets, it looks like I'm walking in the U.S. We had the same kind of clothes on. Everybody kept their mouth shut. I wouldn't know.
Right. So reason number 2 as to why we should have moved to Kenya sooner is a lifestyle upgrade. Jermaine, would you say we get more for our money here and in Kenya, in Nairobi?
Way more.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just, I can't say much more than that. You come here, your lifestyle can improve.
Yes.
If you wanted to, and I was half.
And we had a pretty decent life in the U.S. We lived in a nice house and, lived in a nice little suburb or whatever. Things was okay.
Right. And we're not in a house now, but I think I still think it's an improvement because now where we are is efficient. And we get more of what we want. We don't have to really lift a finger much.
Right. So I do feel like it was a lifestyle upgrade, especially being that now I'm 47, he's 51. We just feel like there's certain amenities we want in life, and we get those in the apartment that we live in. Number 3, Jermaine, as to why we should have moved to Kenya sooner. I would say missed opportunities. Can you elaborate on what we mean by missed opportunities, not moving in 2017 versus moving in 2024?
Well, my biggest regret, really, for me, 2022, I could have seen it, really. Now, that would have been
ideal.
Because you got the GTC that came over there. It's a lot cheaper. It was a lot cheaper than it is now. It's gone.
And the GTC is just a building here in Nairobi that has restaurants inside of it. There is a rooftop pool. There is a what's the other thing? There's a grocery store on the ground floor. So everything you need is kind of like in the building.
That's probably the most modern building around.
Yes, and the most well manicured outside and everything.
Yeah, it's probably the top dog in Kenya overall.
You know what I
mean? But they do have other buildings coming up. It's now instead of 40,000, 30,000. It's starting to move up to 50, 60.
For a 1-bedroom, right?
Yeah, sometimes 2.
Sometimes 2.
But it's not going to be super big.
Yeah.
And they're getting up to the ones, too.
100,000,
and more.
Bedrooms and stuff, yeah.
Right. It's starting to becoming more common. So it's time to get on that train now.
Yes, because missed opportunities actually can cost you a lot of money. It's just like the housing market in the U.S. Like if you were buying houses in 2008, 2009, 2010, then you were able to get some of them rock bottom prices. And then when them prices shot up,
In
you
25.
was winning. Same thing in 2022, 2023. If you were buying houses then, 2021, 2022 after the pandemic.
Yeah, right there. Because right then, that's when it shot up.
Then the houses shot up
a little bit.
So that's what we mean by missed opportunities. Like Nairobi is really growing. A lot of apartment buildings are coming up. The Chinese are coming in and building buildings. The Indians are building billions.
Everybody is.
Kenyan developments. Like those are the three top ones.
Yeah.
Kenyans, Chinese, and Indians are building buildings here. They're most of the
yeah,
builders.
yeah. So the time is now, really. I mean, it's never going to be too late, but a year or two delay
makes a difference.
Can cost you about $20,000-$30,000.
Yeah. So you definitely don't want to miss out on opportunities. And but you know, even when you feel like you missed an opportunity, like if you're following the Lord, everything is going to be right on time.
Yeah.
And like I know that for us, the investment properties that we want to get, they'll be there for us. You never really miss it.
Right.
But we do like the GTC. But we also like some of the buildings that are being built
some
now.
of these newer buildings is going to look nice too. So.
Yes, so you might have just missed that, but
yeah.
It's some nice stuff coming up here, guys.
Right across the street.
Yes. So, okay. So reason number 4 would be as to why we should have moved to Kenya sooner would be access to affordable organic food. I am a firm believer that the food in the U.S. is possibly poisoning people, making people sick, keeping people sick.
Possibly.
Yeah, I mean, I just want to, be a conspiracy theorist. But the food, when I'm looking at the ingredients and stuff like that, in order to buy food that has like less than 5 ingredients in here that you actually recognize, you have to make a lot of money. And I feel like the food was just not good for my system. And so I'm glad to be here now eating better food.
The chips you didn't like the other night, right? That I bought, that I
yeah.
like. It was what, 4 or 5 ingredients? How many is Doritos, which I love in the U.S.?
Man,
Doritos, 20 or 30.
Doritos is on the list of those foods that are like carcinogens. They cause cancer.
Man.
Like, and when I see
so
that,
delicious.
you know what else they got on there? Gummy bears. I love gummy bears. Haribo.
Yeah. So you just like me, man.
A lot of the foods that we love in the U.S., where you're starting to find out over the years that these foods can be potentially dangerous to you. So even that's
what temptation is, right?
Yes.
You can't tempt me with something I don't want.
I know,
so it's got to taste good. Yeah, I love them. But it's no good for you. So
from 2017 to 2024, imagine the damage the food has been doing to your body over that time. So that's one of the things that we
especially
also,
if you're not active.
Right, if you're not even like you said, being active and trying to eat any other things that are healthy, right?
Right.
So reason number 5 is as far as like why we should have moved to Kenya sooner, is that here there's an incredibly supportive online community. And not just an incredibly supportive online community, there's also an incredibly supportive in real life community.
Right.
Like our Kenyan community here, like people we know in real life, like I feel more connected to people here than I did in the US. Just me now.
Because of the time spent. It's more quality time spent.
It's more quality time spent. Like we're eating together, we're praying together, we're talking about the Lord together, we're, it's just different.
Right.
It's just so different. Like the whole communal aspect of Kenya.
Right.
Like they got us beat in the States.
Right. I mean, we kind of lost that. We had it at one point. Gone now.
Yeah. So yeah. And just the engagement from you guys on our channels, like we just appreciate it.
Right. Yeah. I guess that's a good way for you not to feel isolated, right? If you get involved in a good community.
Yeah.
Online communities, they help, but you do need a physical community. Yeah. To me, yeah. At least I do. Absolutely.
And see, me, I'm an introvert. Well, I don't think I'm an introvert because you guys probably saying, how are you an introvert and you're doing a YouTube channel? Like in some ways, I'm an introvert. I don't really thrive in large groups of people, like like small talk and stuff. I really feel like I'm awkward in small talk. But being here is giving me an opportunity to, I guess, get out of my comfort zone. I feel like I used to be really, really outgoing. But just being in the States, I realized I've become more of a recluse because people are just sometimes weird in the US. Like friendships are weird. But here I'm trying to like get more out of my comfort zone. Do you think I'm doing a good job? A little bit.
Yeah, a little bit.
I got some work to do
Got
still.
some work to do, but you better.
So yeah. So what's number 6, Jermaine? Oh,
That ain't me. That's you.
no, okay. So number
That's the
6.
sometimes for me.
Okay, so number 6 reasons why we should have moved to Kenya sooner is because I feel like here in Kenya, I have more of a space to embrace my femininity. Kenya is more of a patriarchal society, meaning men lead in Kenya. And kind of like as a woman here, I feel encouraged to kind of lean into my feminine role more because, and I don't feel as pressured to take like a leadership role. Like we're in the States, people typically come to me and they start asking me questions about what we want to do or asking me questions about what I should do but here people come and they talk to Jermaine first. I mean, actually they talk to Jermaine exclusively.
Right.
And it's,
for the most part.
and I like it. I like not having to answer questions. I like not having to do all the small talk. I like not having to make the decisions. It's really, really refreshing. And it's crazy because when we went back to the States just now,
back to the same old.
Yeah, it was like people were like encouraging me, oh, tell us about it. I said, no, let Jermaine tell us about it or whatever. And it's like in the States, people kind of divert to a woman sometimes.
You divert to what you know. That's just basically what it is. That's what we push, right?
Yes, women, strong leadership and outspoken and those things.
Yeah, it's nothing wrong with being a strong woman, but strong woman.
Yeah, but I just like being able to embrace my femininity. Yeah. I like not having to make decisions. I like not having to answer questions. And I just like watching my man just, do his thing. I love it. I love it. He be out here talking to everybody. I'm like, look at Mr. Social Butterfly. Because everybody just thinks Jermaine is quiet and that he don't really have a real opinion about things.
I'm quiet, man.
They don't know Jermaine. They just think Jermaine is quiet. He don't got an opinion about it. It's just that they're always asking me. But I'm glad here I get to shut up and he gets to, What's number 7, babe?
Freedom from passive racism. Like we always say, we're never gonna really just say, "Oh, we hate the U.S." Right? But U.S. does need some work now. That the racism stuff. To me, the racism is not enough to stop you right here in the U.S. Right? But it's more passive stuff that goes on than just overt in your face. Like stares,
car doors locking.
Now that's the one I used to get all the time. We pull up at the light, I hear click, click, click.
Oh, you said at the gas station too.
What about the gas station?
I thought you said at the gas station people would do that.
It's more at the red light and gas stations too, but more like the light is more noticeable. Okay, if somebody getting out of the gas station, you expect them to lock their car sooner. But at the light when we're both, and I'm not even looking at you, and I hear click, 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 click. Like they gotta make sure they do it 2 or 3 times to make sure it's locked.
It's like, wait a minute, let me make sure my car locked.
And I was like, man, your car is raggeder than mine. But that's just one of the things that goes on. It's an automatic reaction, and the cough.
The cough. Yeah.
I know some of you might don't recognize it, but a lot of times when we'll
as
go
Black Americans, like
our other brothers and sisters, we might, not all of them, because some people are just as comfortable with you as anybody else, but some of the scary ones,
they get by you. If you just notice it, you notice it all the time. And me and Jermaine say, here come the cough, baby, here come the cough. Yeah. The closer. Then they get it.
It's like they give you that corona kind of shield. They know you're not coming in close. You put that cough out there. Yeah, so we see that cough comes out all the time. Now, we've talked
to other Black Americans, and they attest to the same thing. It's like the people do the cough.
It's like it's new though, because we didn't notice it years ago.
You know why we started noticing it? Because of the coronavirus. We're like, wait a minute now.
Keep your coughing to yourself.
So, even what about clutch purses?
Oh, that's of course. Now, they might not do it as often.
Nah, it's the men.
Huh?
It's the men.
Oh, yeah. If you walk into the grocery store now, I'm going to find that grocery cart. Where's my purse at? Close that thing up real fast. Oh yeah, that's coming. But like I said, it's not everybody. But
No,
it's
but
enough
we
for you to
notice
see
some of
and
these
notice.
things.
Yeah, and it's sometimes it's actually even funny. It's like, man, this is ridiculous. You can't survive anywhere but the U.S. with
And
some of
truth
this
be
junk.
told, guys, if I'm in a certain neighborhood, I'm making sure my car door is locked too. But we talking about the suburbs.
Suburbs, or we could be visiting somewhere upscale. It's the
Yeah, we could be
same
in the
thing.
suburbs. We can be at a nice resort somewhere. People are locking their car door. We're like,
I've
come
been
on
in a
now.
suit,
Yes.
and it doesn't matter, which is fine. Like I
So
said,
we understand there's some instances
yeah,
where,
yeah.
yes, you want to check and make sure your car door is locked. But come on now.
Nah, that one, no.
Not
That
the suburbs.
right. So but I realize, right, we're more forgiving,
Yes.
and that's why some people don't want to hear all that. Once you uh, clutch your purse on them, they hate your guts.
The whole
Yeah,
race.
I hate your whole guts. Now, I mean, I get it. That stuff,
It starts to wear on
it
people
wears
over
on
time
people. Yeah,
because again it's a passive kind of racism, and even things like the awkward stares when
right,
you're the only black person in the room, because this happened to me when we was in Savannah, Georgia. We was at a nice
right.
hotel or whatever, and I mean this lady, she was staring dead in my face like she had never seen a black person before, and like almost like she had like a mean little look on her face, and I just gave her the stare right back.
Yeah, because I don't care. You can still do
And like,
whatever.
lady, what?
Yeah, I'm
I'm like,
just
I'm
kind of
here. I paid my money like you paid your money.
right.
So, so that's one of the things that's just like passive racism. And I mean, I don't know what the stares were, but it's just weird if you're just kind of staring at somebody and then she finally turned away. But
Yeah, I don't care.
yeah.
What it boils down to for me, what you gonna do? If you ain't gonna do nothing, just keep it moving, man.
Yeah, and my thing is if you stare, I'm gonna stare too. I'm like, what are you doing here? If you thinking, what am I doing here? But I don't know. But I'm not gonna lock my car door. I mean, but we're just saying we notice these things. And then it's just refreshing to leave that behind. Not walking
Well,
by and having somebody clutch their purse. Now people gonna clutch their phones
yeah, he
around
gonna
here.
clutch that phone though. I was like,
But
hey,
they clutching that phone
they clutching that
for
phone for
everybody.
everybody.
They ain't
Yes.
trusting nobody.
No, they ain't trusting no Americans or nobody. We gotta get it. That's the biggest thing here.
Yeah.
People snatching phone, and like I said, we hadn't even seen it before.
Yeah, and just not even having to deal with, like, sometimes you deal with people who switch into slang or ebonics when they start talking to you sometimes in the States. I'd be like,
That's actually, to me, it's more sad and disappointing than
I'm like, what you
anything.
doing? Why you doing
I
that?
was like, okay, I get it. We
Mm-hmm.
like, okay, in our neighborhoods, right? We speaking slang, but if we
Mm-hmm.
brought that to speak to other groups, they may not even know what we are talking about.
It's the same thing in Kenya. We can't use the same jokes and
No,
stuff here in Kenya because they don't get it because it's part of our community.
even our last video, I realized that figure of speech thing,
They
everybody wasn't
don't
getting it.
get it. Yeah.
Yeah, so I have to watch how I communicate. But if I understand you, you don't have to change it up. I don't know, like that doesn't sound cool to me.
No.
It's like, okay,
You actually sound crazy.
well, just be who you are. Like if I'm accepting you, I'm talking to you, just be who you are. We don't have to go through
Because
all
it's
that.
not like it's a language. It's not like you switching to speak to me in a different language. You're just trying to like speak in a way that you think
Well, I
you
communicate.
should.
Yeah, and don't do that.
Communicate.
Because a
Don't
lot
do
of
that.
times you use the old words that I ain't using 10, 15 years anyway.
Yeah. So it's definitely refreshing to leave that behind. But that is part of the 7 reasons why we should have moved to Kenya sooner. Life is just a lot different here. Certain things that we don't have to deal with here that we don't miss. And just being here just gives us a different, different living experience that we're excited about. It's crazy that you can get to the halfway point because, we are half 100. Jermaine's a half 100
I'm
already.
over half 100.
I'm about to be a half 100, right? And it's amazing to know that the next years of my life, I can live them in a different kind of way and just experience a different kind of living while doing something that's very purposeful and meaningful in my life.
Don't wait, right? Okay, from the first discussion I had with you, was like, Sada, okay, I might consider that, right?
Mm-hmm.
How long do you think it took from that discussion to get here?
Probably 6 to 12 months.
Yeah, I'm thinking it's more like, I'm thinking more like 18 months.
Maybe like 18 months.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So for me, just even thinking it, right,
Yeah.
to being here was about 18 months. And I I had no online income or
Yeah.
anything like that, right? So, but if you want to make it happen, man, just make it happen. It can happen soon, but just don't wait. Especially those of us that's over like say 50. I just got in the group.
And I would say even over 40, but yeah, over
Right,
50.
man. We don't have time to be wasting like that. And if you thinking about coming, go ahead and do it, man. What's the disadvantage of coming? You might waste some money.
Right. You could always go back to America and pick back up where you left off.
I know some people like think, okay, we think about money. Man, I don't care at all about money. I don't care nothing about money. I can't take it with me. When I die, it's gonna be left to her or my kids, whatever we got. So I'm not trying to just hold on to all of it. I want to come and live my life, and the one the Lord told me I need to leave.
Right.
All that other stuff, I don't care.
Right.
All that to say, man, come on over here.
Right. So if you're waiting, don't wait. If you want to connect with us, we have a just link in the description box. You can go ahead and set up a call with us, and we can walk you through the process of either relocating to Kenya or visiting Kenya. But other than that, guys, make sure you like this video. Make sure you subscribe, and let us know what your thoughts are down in the comment section below, and we will catch you guys in the next video. Bye.